Welcome, 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 all you wild and weirdos and weirdettes out there. It is Wild and Weird Radio Live. It is Thursday, and it is time for an incredible episode. And we have our topic all figured out here, but we also have some breaking news that you're going to probably be hearing about here real soon. So we're going to get you the scoop on that real soon. But first, before I do that, let's introduce everybody. I'm Ron. That is Joe in the middle. And that over there on the far end is, I don't know, who is that, Joe?
Lloyd. His name is Lloyd now.
Lloyd. That's Lloyd over there.
Oh, yeah, that's my name. I forgot.
No, that's Brandon, everybody. Say hello to Brandon, everyone.
The horror writer extraordinaire. So I'm going to run down out here in the chat real quick. We got
Run them down.
Foot in the house. What's going on? The octopus with at least us as friends is in the house as well. This is week number 2 for you. Thanks for coming back.
Welcome, my friend. Welcome.
They like us, Ron. They like us.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know. Could happen.
Larry Hose, it's finally Thursday. Yes, it is. It is finally Thursday.
Larry.
And it is the first Thursday of the year.
Yes.
Lisa Beard's in the house. D, how we doing?
Hey, D.
Got a reminder from Lisa. Awesome. Spooky Appalachia in the house.
Okay.
Pat is on time.
Pat's here, and I didn't have to send out a reminder.
Fish Belly, what's going on?
Fish.
Donna Ho.
Donna.
Ada Cox.
Man, we are loaded.
Gunpowder Owl. Finally catching a bit of these. Awesome.
Yeah.
Here. I think
awesome.
we were earlier today, actually. LW Marshall back in the house.
LW, welcome back, my friend.
In the house. What's going on? After I got your friend request, LW, I remember you now. I remember you stopping and talking to us at CrypticCon. We got Spooky, Chris Coots, Nancy White, Cole
Nancy.
UT,
Cole,
and I think that puts us up to speed.
Hey, Cole. Wow. So many. Geez. Really
That's
quick.
just talking anyway. There's more people watching. We got.
Yeah.
By the way, this is our first week broadcasting over to Twitter. So hello, Twitter. How you be?
The Twitterverse. The Xverse.
That's right.
Isn't it called the Xverse now, Brandon?
Xverse.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's the Xverse. It's like, we need a professor. Anyway, everybody out there, if you're just watching, just jump in and say hi. See, like D just did. Hey, D.
How often do you go live? Well, we go live every Thursday at 8 p.m. and occasionally we will go live if there's like a pertinent breaking news situation.
Yeah, if there's like a UFO hearing or something, sometimes we'll go live, to follow that up and try to make sense of the nonsense for you guys.
Spooky says, hey, I thought you guys casted to it before. I seem to remember watching it. Well, we were able to, but it was holy crap. You're getting interrupted, Spooks. We're gonna have to.
What happened?
There he.
I'm not.
Ada. Everybody, y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
Can you feel the blessing?
Thank you. I can feel the blessings. Can anyone else feel the blessings? That's the question. We have Nancy down there at the bottom too. You have to pop that one up.
You're going to say that. You have to say it like a Southern minister.
Can you feel the blessings? I can feel it too. Like that, Brandon.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Jim, what we were doing before, StreamYard upgraded, and they're now allowing us to broadcast to an additional platform all in one go. So our universe expanded this week.
Yeah, we can actually expand even more if we have guests on. They can share from there as well. So if anyone wants to come on and do that, by all means.
Yep.
Tonight we do have a general topic. We know how this show goes. If you've been tuning in, you already understand how this works. Basically, it's a fun show, but it's also serious at times. I know it's scary, but it is sometimes scary. It's a little serious. Tonight's one of those. Possibly, there's going to be a serious injection into this because of the news. There is some surprise, some interesting news about possible. What's the word, Joe?
Well, it is a possible exoplanet with biomass, detectable biomass.
Yeah. So how all this started was apparently was a few tweets over there on X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, and we're seeing things like this. There's some talk about there's going to be some kind of a revelation about the James Webb Telescope, saying that they found signs of life or something. And we've talked about this before. That that's the best way to do it. It's far away, it's distant, and look, this guy agrees too. Step one: discover it at a seemingly impossible distance for comfort, then gently get closer. Much closer. Yeah, I think Jay's right there, 100%. I mean, that's pretty much spot on. So we found this. I found this at first, and this was what kind of led down the rabbit hole. It's over the past couple of days. I've been hearing major rumblings about the potential of an imminent announcement regarding the discovery of a biosignature emanating from an exoplanet, indicative of life outside of our planet. Okay, so a little bit more digging, and I actually found the actual article, I believe, that this may link to, and there was a small video. I'll put that up over on the group here in a short bit, because I want you guys to be the first to hear this. Hey, Patrick. And Patrick, apparently, on January 1st, astronaut, Tim Peake, he's a UK astronaut, he stated in an interview that potentially the James Webb might have already found that they just don't want to release those results or confirm those results, perhaps for another year, until they can be quite sure. But we found a planet which seems to be giving off strong signatures of biological life. That's a quote.
Yeah.
Found an article that seems to point in the same direction. It was also from the same day, and I'm going to read from that now. The title is "A Carbon Light Atmosphere Could Be a Sign of Habitable Planet." All of this just happened and no one paid attention.
Isn't it like it's CO2, nitrogen, and something else that they look for, right?
Yeah, well, they're looking for something different this time, and this is how they think they found it. In a recent study, researchers at MIT, the University of Birmingham, and other institutions suggest that significantly less carbon dioxide in a terrestrial planet's atmosphere than others in the system could indicate the presence of liquid water and life on its surface. See what they did there? This new signature is observable by NASA's James Webb Telescope. The researchers propose that if a planet's atmosphere exhibits both ozone and depleted carbon dioxide, it is likely a habitable and inhabited world. Triad went on to say, if we see ozone, chances are pretty high it's connected to carbon dioxide consumed by life. And if it's life, it's glorious life. It would not be just a few bacteria. It would be a planetary scale biomass that's able to process huge amounts of carbon and interact with it. Pay attention to that last sentence.
Back in, it was sometime last year when they first discovered this planet. We had talked about it on air, the possibilities, everybody gets excited and whatnot. This biomass that's producing the carbon, it could be as simple as a massive, massive coral reef.
Yeah, that's what we speculated. Yeah, that's what we speculated before, right?
And and that would be like the little tiny microscopic thing that they would say, okay, yeah, there's life, and then begin to look for technosignatures. That's the natural progression on this. Yeah. But we have to look at this currently. Ron and I were talking earlier today. You can't roll back what's already been done in the government side of things. We just can't. They're already talking about UFOs, UAPs, all this stuff. And then there was the hypothesis of the extra dimensional thing. But now we're looking at a interstellar object. So that would in a sense, almost rule out possibly extra dimensional activity, or at least rule out that they're purely extra dimensional. Because if we have something interstellar, that's where we're, dealing with. Pat says it's probably full of viruses that we don't have any way of fighting off. Exactly. It's
no, it probably is
a giant smallpox blanket.
You have to think about this. If it's a biomass, then yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance. Look at how much stuff in, just in our rainforest alone can kill you.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean, it's just a fact.
Good science says confirm findings before releasing. Bad politics says add a couple more decades before disclosing.
There you go, LW. That should be a quote.
Then it is. I agree here with No Friends. Is that these officials are fairly laughable. We don't know what biosignatures of life are on other planets would create, especially if it's you bring up a valid point, because what if it's silica based life and not carbon based?
The only reason you would do this though, guys, is because you're looking for something that would pretty much be habitable for us, which means that you might think that there's another us out there.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
And that's extremely plausible, and there's been a lot of hypothesis and a lot of theories surrounding that over the decades.
Yeah. Space Brothers. I'm just saying.
So with this new announcement, hey Brandy, what's going on?
Brandy?
With this new announcement, do we go ahead and check something off of our calendar that we predicted?
Let's wait a little longer on that until we get actual confirmation, and then we'll have pretty much checked off the entire calendar except for Endgame.
I would say probably
what's going on?
Jolybug.
Planets with other humans. Yeah, it's almost terrifying, isn't it, Octopus?
What you just said, Octopus. What you just said. It's not bad enough we have to deal with this one.
We got scattered all over the galaxy by the Goa'uld. I agree. That's the most likely thing.
There are
Jimmy.
planets in our solar system that are within that Goldilocks zone.
There are.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 or 3.
And one of them, I mean, one of them was discovered back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. So yeah, we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Again, just like last week, the whole first hour just got, hijacked, and we ended up doing photo analysis of some sightings. So if you've got those, feel free to send those in too, and we'll do real-time photo analysis here on the air for you.
Pat says another us is a very scary idea.
Yeah, it is.
Full of jumpy, violent creatures. Exactly.
But they may not be jumpy or violent. They might be better than us. There's that possibility.
They're just apes with cell phones.
If they have human DNA, I'm gonna have some questionable.
Well, it just depends on how much human DNA it is. You have to think about that.
It's true.
Could be mushrooms. I don't know. It's hard to say.
When they mix the human or the evolutionary DNA into the gene pool here on planet Earth, it might have mixed with an angry, volatile species that already existed and just kind of set.
I can already hear Captain Kirk getting excited.
No, don't do that. Okay, so we're going to be touching on some psychic phenomena tonight. In prep for this show, I asked a couple of questions over there. I asked if anyone had any psychic experiences, and got a pretty good response from a lot of people. I didn't ask for any specifics. Hey, Terry. And we basically, what did you miss?
No, look down. Oh, a little late. What did I miss? Just a basic rundown of them discovering some biomass on an exoplanet.
Yeah.
Just
possible
little tidbit.
Possible biomass discovered on an exoplanet so many light years away or something. I don't know how far away it is, to be honest with you. They didn't release that yet.
Wasn't there?
This brings up another good point here. Oh man, imagine a peaceful humans on some planets, warlike humans on others, and they don't know which we are.
Wasn't there one of Jupiter's moons that they thought there were whale-sized life forms on?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
That was like a year ago or something, I think.
I don't remember that one.
I'm going to have to Google it. It's going to bother me.
See if you can find something on it.
What's Spooky saying there? I got what?
Spooky said,
I had one. I forgot to post. Oh, you mean a picture? Is that what you're trying to say,
"Oh,
Spook?
maybe should I go
Yeah.
post it?" Yeah, sure, go post
Yeah,
it.
sure. Go ahead. That's fine. So, what? The difference between chimpanzee?
One beats you up, and if you make it mad, the other solves all its conflicts with sex.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, out of everybody here, because this is kind of relevant as well, we don't, as far as it goes with life forms and so forth, we've talked about this before. We don't really know what or how some of these things communicate, et cetera, et cetera. We theorized before about, using psychic means to contact these things or so forth. And that's what people call CE5s now, thanks to, what's his name there, Joe? Your buddy.
Dr. Greer.
That's your buddy, Dr. Greer.
Dr. Stephen Greer.
He didn't come up with it. He likes to claim that he came up with CE5s. He might have came up with the name, but he did not come up with the actual thing because apparently it had been done for ages. And it kind of started back in the 70s. We talked about this during our presentation this year. It kind of started during the 70s with
psychedelics.
No,
it was influenced by psychedelics.
It started with the SRI research,
right.
Stanford research, where they were pretty much interested in emulating what was going on over in the Soviet Union because they thought these, psychic spies were going to infiltrate us all and, take over the country with their minds. So we had to do it one better. And then we accidentally probably made some contact with some things we probably weren't ready to make contact with. But it opened up some very interesting things because, back in the day, people were telling you, oh, psychic phenomena, it's not real. People can't do that. That's all hokey. That's all just make-believe. But like non-human intelligences, it isn't really all hokey. It isn't all make-believe.
Right.
And a lot of your psychologists will just admit, they'll look at it and say, well, can't say it's not there. But that's as far as it'll go. There won't be any really communication on this. Oh boy. Yes. Yes, octopus.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. And that's all I can say about that for right now. Yeah. But, and he's got a point, by the way. I've got to get his book. I really have to get his book. I've got to compare that with some stuff. But there seems to be a vehicle for communication that's beyond space and time, possibly even at this point. We don't really know. So throughout the show, I'm going to be doing some little experiments, and you're all welcome to join in. In fact, there's a couple of you here. It's absolutely mandatory that you do join in. That's Adam, Patrick, and who's the other one? Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And
Anita.
Oh, yeah, Anita. I forgot about Anita. Good point. Yeah, it's mandatory for them. Everybody else can just jump in whenever. But what I'm going to be doing is throughout the show, I'm going to be looking at this little stack of Zenner cards here. And I'll be looking at other stuff too, but mostly it's going to be working with the Zenner cards. And if you don't know what those are, Zenner cards are psychic testing cards. They're not tarot cards. They're not oracle cards. They're psychic testing cards. And the symbols on them are not some kind of ancient mysticism. They're just random shapes that were chosen because they didn't have any significance to any kind of symbology other than that of the collective unconscious and so forth. So what I'll be doing is I'll be looking at one of these throughout the evening. And it's going to be up to you guys when I tell you to tell me which one I'm looking at. And when we're doing it, I'll let you know. It's going to be a circle. It's going to be a square. Going to be a plus. And a star. 1, 2, 3, is that right? Nope, I got one more. Squiggly lines is here somewhere. Hang on, I'll find it. Squiggly lines or waves, as they like to call it. So those are the 5 that I'll be looking at. And it'll be in any order because I'm just going to shuffle this whole deck of 25. Now, during an actual test, we would do 25 cards, and we would do about 25 tests, 20 to 25 tests, and we would take the average of that and see what was average of the picks. Typically, on your first run, you should get at least 5. That's average. The odds increase as you go up, and then we have to rule out other things at that point. And there's a little bit, no kittens, no Bigfoot.
I love everyone in the comments right now.
Oh, they're already, see, Adam's already guessing. So, yeah, that's great. You guys are awesome. So we will, should I meditate first? Well, you still have time, Brandon.
Harry Potter, what's going on, buddy?
So we'll be doing this throughout the evening. So just, there'll be a random drill, so to speak. And I'll look at a card, kind of like this, and I'll say, what is it? Here's a test one for you guys. Ready, get set, go. What is it? It's not a burrito. Go.
Comment away, guys. Put in your choices.
Remember, square, lines, plus, star, circle.
Pat says plus. Bug says square. Spooky says square.
Okay, you guys got it. You got it. That's how you do it. This is how we'll do it. So this is exactly how it's going to run. Okay. Everybody ready? We good? Everybody got your answers in? Okay.
And flip them over.
It's circle. So everybody who got a circle.
The final guess that came in. Circle right as you flipped it.
That's hilarious. Great. Good job, guys.
1, 2.
How many we got on circle, Joe?
Anita got it. D got it. Bigfoot got it.
Okay, good.
Those 3.
Good. That's very good. Okay, so that's just going to happen throughout the night, just to let you guys know. And I will be looking at it. So that means, theoretically, I could be sending that out to some people. So we're going to see if that works, because I know a couple of people very, very good. And I'm going to try to send that to, so to speak, their energy, so to speak, if that makes sense to you. So, yeah. You never know, Spooky.
Says, dang, I wanted to be a psychic.
Well, you maybe. You never know. It could happen. I think everybody's psychic to some degree, by the way. I don't think that it's anything to be. I think you just
I'm one with the force.
are.
The force is with me. I'm one with the force. The force. You got to blindfold yourself first.
Yeah. Yeah. And then put a little green guy on your back and run around. Okay. What? This Ashley's here.
And so is Brandon.
Yep.
That's just funny. But, as far as it goes with the whole psychic premonition thing, we will touch on something. Let's touch on oracle cards. Let's touch on that for a second, because a lot of people do have this misconception, and I had it for years, that it's something mystical, that it's something, a lot of them really, it depends on what you're feeling that day. You're the reader, so it depends on what you're feeling that day. So if we look at some of these oracle cards, I don't have it with me, but they're usually just a bunch of different images, right? Mm-hmm. It's how you interpret those images. It's as simple as that. So
Pat's got it. His name is Leloid now.
Leloid.
But yeah, like Ron was saying, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I mean,
okay.
It's a lot to do with your interpretation of these things. And if we look back, isn't that exactly how the actual oracles were in ancient times? Isn't that how it worked? Because the oracle had to be consulted and had to basically look into and interpret these things, right, for the people.
And we can't forget, a lot of the times the oracles were stoned out of their
That's
gourds.
right. Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
they were it was acacia wood burning. They would do mushrooms. They would do all these things to enter into the spirit realm. Same thing done with First Nations tribes with peyote and
Yeah.
different smokables.
Yeah, but
teas and drinks. You know, there were tools that were used to interact with the spirit world.
yeah, typically, you know, it's copal's very, very sacred for that very reason, because copal has this moderate hallucinogenic feel. Some, not all, some copal, and you can imagine massive amounts of it, like they had in these chambers back in those days. If you're sitting there and inhaling, you know, just copious amounts of copal, you're going to be putting yourself into that bracket. And there's a lot of people who do believe that. There's a lot of people who believe that that bracket exists, and that by becoming calm in this way, that you open yourself up to those vibrations, so to speak. And, you know, you can interpret these things a lot better and a lot faster. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I believe that it's 100% that it deals with the brainwave activity. You know this as well as I do, that is very important to these bits of research. And it's been proven. So yeah, I think that you could definitely see some truth in that as far as the actual oracles went.
The you know, these psychic premonitions, these dreams, the ability to go into these states where you can access the unknown. You know, every religion has their own name for it. Some called them oracles, some called them prophets, some called them seers. You know, they had various names. You know, today we call them psychics, mediums, etc., etc. They all derive from the same source, so to speak. Like it comes from that same ability of being able to center yourself.
Yeah. Going
into a deep meditative state. Particularly if you're not using any kind of medicinals, you know, you go into a deep meditative state and you begin to harness the source, and you're able to communicate.
Yeah,
you're able to interpret. You're able to see.
That's why they were called seers.
Yes,
you know.
And Pat says people have been altering their consciousness for as long as there have been people. We were just a lot better at it. Making the substances now. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Well, they were also, you know, a lot of scientists believe that one of the first steps in human evolution was the consumption of muscaras, you know, the Amanita musculare, the fly agaric.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just caused all these synaptic firings to go off and cause the expansion of the consciousness. Then, you know, we basically have over the years some have demonized this type of
demons,
right? Surprise.
Sorry,
while at the same time,
trigger word,
used the same gifts, so to speak, which was always confusing because you know, me being in my background and, you know, used to teach this kind of stuff, and then having people at the same time, you know, you get people coming up to us, they're a psychic and they're cursed with this gift, and I'm like, what? No, you just need to learn how to use it.
It's not a curse.
and hone it and focus.
Larry,
it's actually a usable tool.
Larry,
and not something from the dark side.
Yeah, it's not. It's part of you. Larry says, I need to learn to meditate. Well, Larry, that's easy.
Yeah.
Literally, it is easy. There's no magical thing to it. All you can, I mean, it's to clear your mind. Simply go find a nice, quiet place. Deep breaths. I like to count in on 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, in for 4. Just do that. And do that repetitively, and then you can change up your numbers. Of course, there's the, you know, 4, and then pause for 2, and then hold for 7, and then alternate. There's many complicated ways to do that, but it's all about breathing And realizing the now, that's important. That's the most important part. And when you realize the now, you will get to the point where you're really only aware. Candles will work, yeah. They'll really be aware of your breath. And when you get to that point, you'll feel yourself starting to kind of just totally relax. Yeah. And you may fall asleep, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. The best thing to do when meditating is to just remember you are in control, and you literally, when a stray thought comes in, push it out and focus back to whatever it was. Who was it that said a candle? Or was it Lisa?
That was Lisa.
Lisa focuses on a candle. Again, that's whatever it takes for you to focus on. Some people focus on a symbol. Some people focus on crystals. I want to hear somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, some people focus on crystals. Some people focus on sound. Some people focus on sound and light, which is what I used to do with the out of body stuff. And it works wonderfully. Whatever it is, it gets you into that state where your brain is producing these waves that you want to be producing. You want to be somewhere in that beta and theta state, somewhere around in that area. And then you're very receptive to a lot of stuff. Oh, you 100% can. Yes, Brandy. You don't need any drugs, alcohol, nothing like that. Light and sound.
I never focused and that was one of the things, when me and Ron started talking about this between ourselves. I often told
Lisa, that's advanced topic. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't use any kind of process. It was just years and years of practice, and then it was just a state of mind that I could just stop, focus, and there I was.
Well, it takes time to get to that. And, it takes many, many years of just sitting there and counting as you're breathing, feeling, and become aware of your body. That's the number one thing. You have to become aware of how you feel, how you truly feel. And when you do it, you'd be surprised, man. You'd be really surprised. You'll think better. You'll be clearer. Things will come to you a lot faster.
One of the things that I used to always tell people,
holding the alpha state, yeah, that's rough.
Was to if you're wanting to access this, I used to call it, for intents and purposes, to not make church folk wary or scared of it, I refer to it as the divine imagination, where you were inspired by the spirit, and allowed your spirit to touch the everything else, and you were able to take in that information and process it, and then to focus. Once you got to that point, you felt these things come into alignment. You felt all this stuff. So you might feel like you're stuck, and I described it like you're on a spider web, and you're the spider, and you pluck the strings or pluck the filaments of the web, and you feel the vibration and sense for anything coming back. And when you finally hit the one and you can focus on that, you feel like there's something on that thread. That's the thread you focus on. And then you go back to that one and you refine your search, so to speak, and bring yourself in alignment there. Begin to focus on that point, and then see what you're told, see what you hear, see what you say, because that was the next thing I told people. Begin to speak out the things that you're seeing. Speak them out, write them out, because in these deep meditative states, it's not uncommon to forget a lot of what you're seeing and lose track of where it's going, because some of these images might begin to flash through like rapid fire. And writing those down and keeping that data so that way you can go back and review it later is very beneficial.
Agree. Absolutely agree. LW Marshall makes a pretty good point. I won't push a demonic explanation. Thank you, LW, so much. Though I believe in them, which is fine. But it's logical that if substances leave you open to unusual encounters, not every contact you make will be a benevolent being. And you are 100,000% right on that. Absolutely. Because it's not all sunshines and rainbows, as some may believe. And I'm not being mean to anyone, but there are those who believe that it's just light and love. And there are other things out there that are not really what we call light and love. There are things out there that just don't even care for us as a species. We can call them whatever we want. It doesn't really matter. Right. But they are there, and they do exist on that higher level. Humans,
and what those would be referred to in a lot of the ancient texts, anytime you heard or saw the words principalities used, notice that wasn't the word demon. They referred to them principalities or rulers of the air. Those two terminologies, when you saw them used, it was those entities that just didn't care one way or the other. They were just malicious. Brandy says crystals help me with energies, and did so in the that crystals help me with energies and did so in biblical times as well.
She's saying that they also were references to crystals in biblical times as well, and she's right.
Ephod, which was the garment that they wore.
That's right.
They had the 12 stones in the breastplate. D says the hardest part of meditating for me is not falling
asleep. That's right, D. Yes.
Well, see, one of the things that, you can kind of, I guess, take from this if you want is that if you do fall asleep, your brain is already in that position and your spirit's already in that position to still receive. So while you're asleep, you can still receive those kinds of messages. Demons are the ones flying around, and them they're TR3Bs.
Oh my God! Give him a Sky Daddy for that. That's just as good as a donation. That. You know what? I'm going to give you a song for that, Bigfoot, on my kalimba. There you go. That's for you because that was worth that.
A good punchline is like a donation.
All right. Anything that makes us laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Celestite, selenite, clear pointed crystals, amethyst are my favorite to focus with. Well, they're my favorites in general, T. But they work very well.
Yeah, and we're seeing that there's a whole lot of varied schools of thought here between different individuals.
But do you see what we're seeing, though, Joe? We're seeing a commonality. Yeah. Again, this is just like what we talk about all the time. It's the labels, it's the words, it's the methodologies. But they're talking about the exact same things and achieving the exact same goals. They're just doing it in different ways. No one's right, no one's wrong. Brain generates frequencies, work them with intent. It's all about the intent.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yep.
I love to use crystals to meditate, but meditation is hard for me a lot of the time.
Meditation is hard because it really requires you to step away from what you're doing in the day at some point. And let's be real, Joe. Think about this. You too, Brandon. How many people can just step aside from what they're doing for 10, 15, 20 minutes and try not to think about anything? Yeah. It's really hard today. You can't really do that. It's extremely hard.
Well, even when I was meditating, I couldn't not think. That was that's
the hard part.
Yeah, like I still to this day, I still can't not think.
Oh, you have to. You have to be able to just turn it off.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work that way.
Most don't.
I have AD4K is what we call it now.
Sorry about that.
Instead of ADHD.
Sorry about that.
It's AD4K.
That's not good. I can't help you.
But it did take time to learn how to meditate and do these things while your brain's going full tilt, 1,000 miles an hour. You just can't shut her off sometimes.
Joe, speaking of shutting off things, we forgot to roll our scroller at the beginning and thank the wonderful people who make this show possible.
Well, the show's brought to you by our super chatters, the executive producer, Adam Good, Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, the Deuster, Spooky Appalachia, old Jimbo down there.
Where is Dewey?
Larry Hose, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Orednick at the Deep End Antique, currently at the Virginia Beach, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Bigfoot Littlefoot, Tommy Swigger, Terry Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Finding the Trackway. Where's Finding the Trackway? Finding the Trackway is not out there right now. L.W. Marshall, Donna Ho, and Angie Breeden. Thank you.
You might know where Finding Trackway is. Send them a message. You're missing the show.
I don't think I'm friends with them on Facebook.
Oh. Well, everybody take time right now, if you can, just to hit the share button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We need to get our numbers up a little bit, and so we can get out there to more people, and then we can get some, get some more cool stuff in here for you guys. And boy, do we have some really cool stuff coming.
It says all this stuff reminds me of Tolkien's Pelentary or Seeing Stones.
A little bit.
I always pronounce that wrong. Seeing Stones, I don't, but is it Palantary? I can't. I don't think I've ever heard it said in any of the movies either. But if you were not strong enough to keep others out, they could put images in your head. Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Please
Lord
do.
Ring fandom is not one you want to argue with.
Oh God, that's true. He's so right about that. No, they're worse than Star Trek.
The next.
No, Star Trek, dude. I mean, since I've been building the Enterprise, I've been going through the model that I'm doing. I've been going through like these boards, and there are people who are adamant about the number of like spokes on something on the warp nacelles. I'm like, oh my God, that's hardcore devotion.
Well, when it comes down to it, all you have to do is ask the Sky Daddy. Thank you, Lisa. You're amazing.
Many thank yous. Thousands of thank yous. From our house to yours.
The Pat, when he was saying if your mind wasn't strong enough to keep others out, they could put images in your head. That was normally the next step in the teaching sessions that I would do, to teach people how to place walls up and barriers up. And it was one of those things that every time I went to some different church, I was always like the magnet. Mm-hmm. And of course, whoever was the prophetic individual there would be drawn in towards me. And I just, for one, you don't know who's who and what's what. So I would just put up the wall.
Oh, and I thought you were going to blow up something. I'm sorry.
There was one time that I was there with my senior pastor and a few of the folks I was in a band with, and this person came up to me and they started to speak and prophesy and say what they were being shown in dreams and vision, or not dreams, but in this open vision. And they said that, they saw me being released and free from my addiction to painkillers and all these other things. And I was just like, do you now? and like everybody that was there with me was like, oh.
Did they see into the future when you had that terrible car accident?
Right. And
that didn't happen.
And then they started saying some other stuff about like, your oh gosh, what else? They said something about my marriage, and I wasn't even married yet, or wasn't even close to being married yet. This is years and years and years ago. And it was pretty funny. Everybody was like, afterwards, they all was like, that was hilarious. That was so far off. And I was just like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You just plop up the wall and they got to start fishing in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's what it is. And sometimes that's not what it is.
That reminds me of something I'll tell you guys about later.
Brandy said, I try to see and communicate with the elementals of Faye on her property, but she's not been able to yet.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, you've evidently not listened to our episodes on the Fae and how they will steal your teeth and other vital organs.
That's just, coming from us, Brandy, but that's probably a good thing. I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
Then let's see. Jimmy Ruger, I guess you all know this, but if you take zinc supplements before bed, dreams are more clear. I have heard that. I've never done that myself, but I have heard that. There's also some teas you can drink that do that, and it might be high in zinc. I looked at the chemical comp, so
yeah. You guys told me a really cool thing that's coming up tomorrow on tomorrow night's podcast about tea that I didn't know.
Which one?
The cult link.
Oh yeah.
That'll learn something.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun one. You guys have to buckle up when.
Yeah, I actually learned something there yesterday, so that was good.
Every time I mention something and I see Ron's face go, "Oh," I'm like, "Yes, I got
Score.
him."
Yeah, he gets a point, and he marks it in his little book.
So Octopus says there's many types of different meditation. Ashley says I've tried meditating and I can't. My ADHD makes it impossible.
It happens.
Help you because I have the good old fashioned ADDs, and I can like the whole brain shutdown thing where you just try to flatten it. It never happens. You just have to learn to go through the like imagine it like a lake, and you have to learn to go through the wake and not be influenced by the wake that is your mind. You've just got to literally plow through it, and it's a very, I guess you could say, offensive type of meditation to do that for somebody who's neurodivergent and can't shut your brain off like that. But there's definitely ways to do it. Anita says active meditation is a way to be physically doing something and slip into the zone. I love spreading mulch or digging trenches because I can cut out and meditate. Yeah, that's
true.
That is generally how I'll wind up going into the meditative state. And normally it involves me and my guitar. I will begin to play music and then I'll just slip into a progression and just sit in that progression and play and allow that to help me focus. But it gives my hands something to do and kind of gets my brain moving the right way. She says, I also do light practice with breathing while driving. I used to do that in the van when I was driving that van for Rite Aid until I found out that I was driving I would catch myself driving like this in the van. I'd be like, oh man, I got to really set up. Terry said, I've always been interested in the supernatural and unexplained. Being a former Baptist deacon, they weren't very open to the supernatural unless it was their approved supernatural. Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And, I fortunately was not subjected into that. The church group that I belong to, we happened to be the very charismatic type, I guess you could call it, but not crazy charismatic. We weren't the ones that were consumed with so much of the politics.
Well, that's a good thing.
And then when it did become consumed with politics, I left.
Well, yeah, because, that's not what it's about.
Tatsu Shimabuku Okinawan Samushi meditated laying on his side while some suspect he just enjoyed napping.
Yes. Back when I used to do this with my friend, we were always, we're the crazy ones. We were doing these psychic experiments in high school and whatnot, and every day I would keep these logs, and he would call from time to time and he'd be like, yeah, so what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm researching. Yeah, researching actually meant sleeping, because what I figured out was to be more spot on with a lot of this stuff, we did what was called pre-sleep. And that's basically a sleep that you would do that would kind of put you in the state before you actually committed to say you're doing an out-of-body experience, something like that. It seemed to keep you from falling asleep and entering the full delta state is what it did. Don't know why it worked, only that it did work. And that was the running joke. It was like, oh, yeah, I'm doing research, i.e. sleeping.
Donna says, I have a black obsidian ball that I hold in my hand and meditate with.
That
I
works
cannot
too.
do it very long, 5 minutes at the most, or I get a splitting headache, and next day I have past memories.
Oh. Yep, every one of those things will help you a little bit too. Help you to reach out there. Because, a lot of this stuff is simply in you. It's just that you're using something else to help you focus on that.
Back when I used to do it, I would just get really calm and daydream.
Mm-hmm.
I would daydream so deep that I would start meditating. But
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works, pretty much. All right, I think I got this thing. Let's do this one, medium size. Okay.
Koliyuti, this was back whenever I was talking about the when I would be in those services and I would be the magnet. He said the brightest lights attract the biggest moths, and then Abbott says maybe we can catch Mothman.
Mwah, mwah.
But no, Cole, you're right. The it's a beacon effect. If you've touched that side of things, you can,
You stand out.
you stand out.
You
Lisa
definitely
says always
stand
put
out.
up walls when the energies are sketchy. I always put up walls, period. Be human, because humans.
Well,
Ron and I had that conversation while driving back from Richwood before.
You know how humans be.
Growing up in those charismatic churches, always loved when you had a traveling prophet come by and he would predict the end of the world.
Oh, no, you weren't necessarily in a charismatic. You were UPC. They were.
We weren't UPC.
Look what I did for you
Oh,
guys.
look at that.
Because I love you so much and I don't want you to have to think so hard.
Bacon, coffee cup from the top down without a handle.
Yeah.
A square.
Mm-hmm.
The piece that looks like a star, but when you extrude the Play-Doh through it, never really looks like a star. And then a plus sign.
Oh, geez.
Did you ever notice that? Like, did you have that Play-Doh extruder?
Yeah. Everybody had a Play-Doh extruder.
The star pieces never looked like stars. They were always missing a leg here and there.
They would break off.
Extruder. All the others, great.
Yeah. The star broke off a lot,
It did.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
That was
Okay, so
a memory there that opened up for me.
that's crazy. Well, on this one, there's your choices, kids, and we're getting ready to start this thing. Don't you guess yet. Don't you guess yet. Don't you guess yet. Okay? No guessing. When I snap my fingers.
Open your minds. It makes this easier to eat your brain. I was wondering where you will show up.
I was wondering where they were. Missed those guys.
Ike's in the house.
Ready? Here we go. That's your cube. It's one of those 5. Which one is it?
I'm saying squiggles, but I'm just hungry.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Lisa agrees with me.
Looking for bacon is what you're doing. Has Adam guessed yet?
I don't see it.
Yeah, he did. I see it.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Do we have any more? Anita? Okay,
Anyone?
Black Tower. Hey, Black Tower, what's up?
Black Tower's here. Okay.
All right, I think that hey, Scott Holbrook's in the house too. What's up, brother?
Scotty. We ready over there, guys?
I think it's everybody. Okay. At least everybody has been active in the chat.
All right, here we go then. Square. Who got square?
Square was Brandy D. Where'd Adams go? Star, then Terry McCullough got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's it.
How many of them? 4?
We went from
Okay.
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay, cool. All right. Carry on. Back to conversation, kids. We'll do this again.
Woo, I'm a psychic.
Yeah,
We'll sell you. Yeah, we'll send you your membership card.
yeah. You get a little certificate you can print out that says you're certified wild and weird psychic. There you go.
She says, "Yes, I believe psychics should receive payment for their services."
Oh man, you guys are
Tony
great.
Breeden says the star in his Play-Doh Fun Factory was always perfect. By the way, what kind of black magic were you using, man?
I always thought that when they came out of the star, it looked like poop.
It did.
It's otherworld technology is what that is.
My daughter actually has one now. Paisley, she has the
He
star.
just said, "I'm slow. I now understand all the bacon comments."
said.
What were you saying about your wife?
Paisley has the star shaped one now, and I was like, man, I remember this from when I was a kid.
This
And
is
it still
great.
looks the same.
So, so we know you guys have had some psychic experiences and whatnot out there.
Yeah.
How about how many of you guys have done any like actual out of body experiences on purpose, not just spontaneously, but on purpose?
Black Tower had a good question there too.
Go ahead.
Have you ever drawn one of those cards and just think of one and see how many pick up on the card versus the image you're thinking? Like, have you drawn the card before and projected the image out while you're drawing it? Because that's also a psychic test.
Yeah, it is. You're right about that.
Johnny Utah, I'm a witness to many miracles. Yes. I can agree with, well, I mean, I wasn't there for the ones that you've been with. Maybe I was, could have been, but yeah, I too, my friend.
I don't know if I ever actually saw any because I just assumed everything that I saw as a kid was just showmanship.
Well, that's what, you're led to believe.
Ashley said never on purpose, but I've had one once.
Okay. So that's spontaneous.
Pat says I'm not that lucky. Better question. How many of you have ever spontaneously combusted?
Okay.
But I'm okay now.
Anita said, I scared myself so bad with the first spontaneous OBE, it's nearly impossible now. I just do remote viewing or astral travel. I mean, isn't that kind of the same thing?
It's yes, it is the same thing. The only difference is that, Anita, with a spontaneous, you're not trying to do it. It just happens. And if that's what that was, then you have to look at some other factors that could be indicative of something completely different. But yeah, I'm not sure. And remote viewings, it's a little different than out of body experiences. So yeah, there's a little bit of difference there.
Tony Breeden says, I feel like Bill Murray is going to shock me when I see a psychic deck. That's a deep take.
That's funny. That's very funny. We should have probably had some kind of a reward system in play that might have actually geared the results a little better. I don't know.
You mean like Pavlov?
Bigfoot Littlefoot said, only tried once, and 5 minutes into the experience, I overheated and bailed out.
Wow.
Lisa says, once a long time ago, it was surreal. I moved from one spot to another without moving, only by thought, watching some friends watching TV. It was weird. Johnny Utah said, all these miracles happened in church. I saw many spirits come down from heaven, and they showed me over 20 miracles. That's awesome. I would have then proceeded to take those outside of the four walls. Adam Good said, I've gotten close, MIB. Ashley said, I spontaneously combusted a time or two. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. I feel like I'm about to spontaneously combust. Now, the reason I'm like bumbling words so much is because there's that big pressure system moving through because the storm's coming in, and it is wreaking havoc with my head.
Mm-hmm. Yep, right here, this area. Yep.
Well, there's also a massive solar flare that hit. So,
Oh, really? One of those too, huh?
Yeah.
That's what happened last time. We had a big storm system, and we also had a solar flare like just before.
Yeah, we just had a really big meteor shower there last night too. I don't know if anybody got to
Randy
go out
says,
and
I've
see it.
sort of tried, but I haven't been able to purposely get out of body. I've had
Okay.
2 experiences, though. One was scary, and one was sort of near death, sort of.
Well, I think when you deal with a lot of this stuff, it is pretty scary. And, again, talking about these kind of things, it's kind of like what some of these people are thinking.
Look at Adam's comment.
What is it? I used to look at other people paper in class.
He used it to cheat in class.
That is bad, Adam.
Why didn't you just read the answer book, Adam, if you're going to go that far with it?
It's bad, Adam.
Deuster says, I've had 2 out-of-body experiences so far.
Were they willed, Dewey, or were they spontaneous? What did Anita say?
Donna Ho says, I walked right out of my body once. I felt lighter than air. My neighbors saw me fall in my tracks from their roof and raced over to see if I was okay. I didn't tell them what actually happened.
Wow.
This one kind of sounds familiar to a video Ron had me watch yesterday. Brandy says, one time I had such a vivid dream about aliens trying to suck me up into their craft, and I fought and fought back and got back in my living room.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Was it a dream?
Well, there are those who believe.
Bigfoot Littlefoot says, has anyone ever had the falling dream and landed or made it past where you're supposed to land? Yeah.
I have the falling dreams all the time, and it wakes me up every time I hit the ground.
Is Ike here? Ike knows what
Ike's
the falling
here.
dreams are.
Ike's had a lot of dream study work, so.
Yeah.
I've had the falling dream and hit the ground a lot and just get back up and just dust off and go.
Well, I don't hit the ground. I can fly over there. So there's that. But, and I think, that's an inherent thing. I think we all.
Yeah, the lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, normally if I have that dream where I fall and hit the ground, that is whenever I figure it out that I'm dreaming, and then I'll be like, oh, now I can do whatever I want, and then it turns into like an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
So Anita says definition on hers is OB for her is a full awareness outside self, no awareness of body. Astral, you have a connection to the body. Remote, you're in body, just seeing elsewhere or doing controlled remote. You're kind of automatic writing for subconscious. It's pretty accurate there. As far as the OBEs, as far as that goes, you have a connection to the body. I've never seen that connection. Like I know a lot of people talk about the silver cord or connection, something like that. I have never seen that. I've seen my body multiple times, but I have never seen anything connecting to it.
Abbott says solar Arctic wave coming. Temps for next week. Yeah, temps are going to drop real low.
Yuck. I don't like cold.
Deuster says both were spontaneous.
Okay.
Men in Black says, shush, Brandy, that never officially happened. Anita says, I lucid dream so I can change it into a flight.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really good, you can also use lucid dreams to actually go into out-of-body experiences.
I use lucid dreams to shoot a massive Kamehameha wave. That's what I do. Like, yes, I can do whatever I want here.
Might want to be careful with that. Never know what's real, what's not.
Might actually do it.
Never know. Ike, yeah, Ike's here. Ike, do you remember what is it called? Those jumps when you're half going to sleep and you feel like you're falling, and then you wake up. It's a hypnagogic start something shock. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, you know what it is. You did the stuff.
Pat says if it's an episode of DBZ and you just stand opposite of your opponent and scream until the narrator says next time on Dragon Ball Z. Pretty much.
That's it. A whole episode. While all the rocks are floating up.
Donna Ho says Fishbelly, were you awake when you had your OBE? I love how Ron constantly gives away that he's not human. Wait, which Ron is this?
Well, I've made no allegiances to humanity, so there's that.
When Tommy says when I had my NDE,
Yeah.
I watched my mom and oh gosh, come on, brain. When I had my NDE, I watched my mom and I from afar, and she was trying to stop the bleeding. I tried to get back into my body, but kept pushing me back a couple feet from my body.
I'm going to guess after you had that you've had multiple experiences after following that, because it kind of seems like most people who have had near-death experiences opened up these out-of-body experiences, remote viewed, tapped into a psychic nature whatsoever, all together, seems to be more inclined for these things to happen. They notice things more, and they see more things. And you would have thought I would have figured that out years ago, but it really took me decades to actually figure that out. Well, Johnny said that the day will come when you will see the same miracles that God showed him. Well, that's good.
Yeah, he had said above that, he said, because he said that God gave him a message. He said that he said, I've not abandoned my people, and he sends his spirit into every church, and that he's a witness. And previously he said that, God had given him that message and nobody believed him. And that's actually like a biblical, there's like 5 passages in the New Testament that actually say that. So it was just a confirmation for you, and that's fantastic.
Yep. I agree.
I guess he's cashing out for the night. Johnny, hey, it's good to have you. Thanks for stopping by, man.
See you out there.
Have a good night.
I think Lisa brings up a very good point.
Yeah, and what she was referencing just above was this. Brandy said, I would like to try the CIA's gateway method, but I'm afraid it's a trick for them to control me.
Okay, well, it's not the CIA's, first of all.
Yeah, it wasn't the CIA's.
That was created by the Monroe Institute. It was actually the very beginning of it was what they gave over to the CIA to do. So you can actually do the gateway experiment, all that. And if you actually go and get Robert's book, the Journeys Out of the Body, the very beginning of the gateway process is right there.
Yeah,
it's literally right there. How he managed to start his very first ones, and with the subliminal messages and whatnot to your, listening to music and so forth. It's how I started mine. Thank you, hypnagogic jerk. See, you think he's calling me a name, but he's not. That's what it's called. That's when you're going to sleep and you feel like you're falling, and you kind of do all those numbers. That's a hypnagogic jerk.
Deucer says one of mine involved a silver cord, but it was a bright lime green color, not silver.
Mm-hmm. There you go. It's cool. I know that a lot of my second state, as I used to call it, was like a whitish blue color. And you know what's really funny is we hear a lot of orb sightings that literally that is the color they are. They're that whitish blue color.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a primary color actually for a lot of these orbs.
The government is looking out for you. Trust them. Trust the hypnagogic jerks you elected. That's a good one. That's a
That
good
was
one.
that was really good. That was clever. I hope they get paid extra for their cleverness. Sounds like an insult. You hit the Kojic jerk. I love it.
Lisa says your chord matches your primary in your aura. I'm thinking that's aura, right? Yes, according to the keyboard, the R is right beside the T. So
Yeah.
yes, aura.
Yeah. Oh, Brandy, that's Journeys Out of the Body by Robert Monroe. 1970 something. I can't remember the date on it. But it was literally when he's, there's a whole section there when he's talking about how he's coming up with this process, and that process is what later turned into the Gateway Project. Or process, I should say.
Have you ever encountered the black goo?
Can't say I have. Is that like star jelly?
I know what Abbott's referring to.
What is it?
There's a when we were doing research for the NDE and OBE
Excuse me. Yep.
topic a while back, one of the articles that I was reading was where some of these people who were having these out-of-body experiences would come in contact with this black goo that basically when it got on them, it stuck on them, and it was like tar almost. And
nope.
But yeah, so like that was really about as deep as that went in that article, but I did see it.
Never heard that one. No, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear more about that. Yeah.
Lisa says it's the energy sucker.
I know a couple of them.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Pat's right, 100%.
Is the black goo what killed Tasha Yar?
That's right. The most senseless episode of Star Trek Next Generation ever. What was the name of that episode? Oh, boy.
Probably the black goo.
Nope. What was that? Oh, I can't remember now.
Tommy says, I've seen black mass, but never the goo. It might be the same thing. It's just people's interpretation of it.
Skin of Evil or something like that? Is that what it was? I can't remember. Of course, there's no Next Generation fans here, so it doesn't matter what I say.
Brandy said, my other experience was when I was delivering my daughter. My blood pressure was sky high, and I was on bed rest in hospital for 2 weeks and then had to be induced 8 weeks early. Wow.
Oh.
A lot of medical trauma.
Oh, wow. Skin of Evil. Thank you, LW. Gosh. Bless you. Yeah, that's it. Skin of Evil.
Brandy says, I was floating above everybody and tell myself to pray out loud, and I did.
When you're floating, it's really hard to remember how to fly. But you'll eventually figure that out. Oh, yeah. Guys, take the time, by the way, to be sure to leave a comment on this. You guys did this a couple weeks ago, and it really helped a lot.
It did.
Do that as well, of course, subscribe and whatnot, and share. Because we're terrible at getting people to actually share our stuff. We would have so many people if we could just do it.
Right. If we would actually promote.
I'm a fan of Star Trek Next. Oh my God. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, we would do a whole lot better, I'm sure, if we would actually remember to do that, but we always forget. So yeah, please do take the time to like, share, and definitely subscribe. And also,
he says, sorry, he was late. He was on a podcast with Cryptid Creatures with Augie Macro. Met him at the Flatwoods a few months ago, and then he had to go to dinner.
I know Augie. Yeah,
Augie's a good kid.
Yeah. That's awesome. Be sure to leave an actual comment after the episode is over, and that helps us as well. So just yeah, I liked it, or now you guys are nuts and I don't believe anything you're saying. You know, things like that. That's cool. Doesn't really matter as long as it's a comment.
There are a lot of psychic and paranormal experiences revolving around baby births.
Yes, there is.
And then also the subsequent infant thereafter.
Yeah, that's true.
RSPK.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa asks off topic, but have any of you watched Rebel Moon?
No. And you know what? D is 100% right. 31 watching and 10 likes. There's just something wrong with that math. Come on, guys.
Oh, it helps a lot with the algorithm, guys. Come on.
Definitely does.
That it do.
Thank you, D.
I've almost turned it on like 3 or 4 times, but when I try to turn it on, it's really late after the kids go to bed, and I don't really want to stay up much later than that because my kids don't sleep.
Brandy.
For the entire time I was in the hospital, I complained about a very bad smell, and the docs told my family that I was very sick due to my blood pressure, and most people who complained were near death. Ashley says, my daughter just wanted me to tell you guys that she had a dream Bigfoot was dancing on our coffee table, and then Mothman joined in.
I'm going to animate that just for you guys.
That'll be the new reward.
I'm doing that, Ashley. It might take a couple of weeks, but I've got to do that.
Now he's showing 21 likes.
Oh, look at that.
Yep, that's over. I think that's over on YouTube. The ones we're seeing up on the screen up top are just Facebook stuff.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yep.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Just content from Facebook. If you want to see the YouTube metrics, you actually have to bring up YouTube in a separate window.
See that. You're right.
Okay. So we're showing 34 likes now over there on YouTube. Thank you guys.
Wow. You guys are amazing is what you are. And please, like I said, if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button.
That says milk that algorithm.
Yeah, let's milk that algorithm. That's what we want to do. We want to get this thing out there to many more people because we have a lot coming up this year. And the more people who are already here, it's going to be better. Trust me, for you guys. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a good ride. And you're going to love every bit of it.
Tony says Rebel Moon was pretty good. Basically a Battle Beyond the Stars remake in Zack Snyder's palette.
There, I got it up now. I see it. I can see. There you go. Oh, wow. Holy crap.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah, you guys are rocking it. That's what I want to see.
Ashley Hilt's daughter said, audibly yelled and said, please do it.
And please do it?
Yes.
No, it'll happen. Don't worry. I just have to figure out how to do it and what context. If it'll be, but it will be animated. I just don't know how yet.
But yeah, so when you're dealing with some of these, different types of psychic training, Ron.
Yeah.
What are some of, other than Zinner cards, what are some of the other techniques that you can use?
As far as training goes, literally meditation is your best bet. And, the tools would be Zinner cards, pendulum, things like that. But your number one step is really like we've talked. You've got to clear your mind. You've got to get to a point where you can literally program yourself. It's self-hypnosis is what it is. So you get into the habit of, all right, so if we're going to do one, who wants to do one? Well, never mind. Larry, hang on a second. We got to get you. He gets a couple more.
Oh, where'd they go? And good grief. You guys keeping it free out there. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Y'all are awesome.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I can't wait till we have our workshop to show you what you've done.
Yeah.
Can't wait to show you what you've done. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So let's think about that for a second. Self-hypnosis. Basically, we can do a really, really quick one if you're down for it. And if really wants to learn about it, And this is just to teach you how to center yourself and relax. That's literally all it is. And this is not based on a book that I read. This is not based upon a, something I watched off YouTube. This is based off of the stuff I did, 30 some years ago. And I wrote notes and I kept it all. But this is basically what you do, or what I did. I would just get comfortable, lay down, close my eyes, and then focus on the dark that was there, and then start counting backwards. I would start counting backwards from 25. Now, with each number, I would see a stairway going down. And I would tell myself on these stairs, 25. When I get down to 0, I will be relaxed, completely conscious, and free of anxiety. That's the key. Free of anxiety is very much the key to this. So you will come down, 25, feeling very relaxed. 24, a little more relaxed. 23, even more relaxed, letting everything kind of go. You're not feeling your arms. You're not feeling your legs. And you would just keep doing this. And you repeat this in your head to yourself over and over. That's why I said with the gateway process, it's a lot better because when you're doing that, you kind of make a tape and kind of play it. And then you just repeat that as you hear it. And eventually you'll get to the point to where you can just do this pretty much on command. You can just enter that state. Now, it didn't hurt to have a biofeedback galvanic skin response monitor back in the day. And it probably didn't hurt to have, using music and using lights to flash on and off and whatnot as well. I would suggest if you're going to use lights, make sure that you're not epileptic. That is very important. You do not want to go into an epileptic seizure of some sort. So you can definitely just use music, calming yourself, focusing on your breath every step you go down, and learn to relax. Once you do that, then you can kind of start focusing on some other stuff. Thank you, D.
Pat says Puppy Dude can smell your anxiety and will come for you.
Well, probably.
Tony Breeden says free of anxiety. I ain't been free of anxiety since I had kids. I can relate.
Yep.
100%. Dogman. Then Ashley says, I hear you, Tony. Lisa says, I mentally walked on a path through the woods up to a cabin. When I opened the door, I was fully
in a fully receptive state. Yeah. It's whatever visualization. It's all about creative visualization, guys. 100% creative visualization. It can be a stream you're swimming across. It can be stairs like I used, a meadow, a field, whatever gets you through.
It says the hippies and Stanford kids and the Grateful Dead used to do telepathy experiments at shows in the 70s.
Yes, they did. Julie
Bug.
hit it. Ah, that's so nice. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you, guys.
You guys are awesome.
What this does, literally, what I've been doing is, if you have not been noticing on these episodes, when that happens, these episodes are not monetized. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I'm not monetizing the episodes that we're getting this kind of donations on, because why? We've already did it. Let everybody else see it. So literally you're paying for everyone else to see that as well. And I think that's really cool to be able to do that. I know last episode was like that. Last couple episodes were like that, actually. So yeah, that's why you're not seeing that.
My astral projection started with a playground swing. I swung higher and higher, and I got to the point where the swing was about to go over the top and leaped out of the swing. Then,
see, that sounds like you went into it from a lucid dream state, Dewey.
He said, I landed in Washington State at my daughter's house and played with my granddaughter.
Yep. A lot of these, back when I was doing it, we were very aware of as you're going to this relaxation state, you become very aware of this vibration. It's a sound, and if you focus on that sound, sometimes it'll get very, very rough, and you will kind of start vibrating, and then you'll kind of wiggle a little bit, and next thing you know, your hands free, or you're bouncing off the ceiling or something. It sounds like science fiction, but it's absolutely pretty much that's a case study.
So Lisa says if she has nightmares, she knows where they came from. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness, you guys, that's so funny.
Pat says, I think most people run on anxiety and caffeine anymore. Yes.
They do. And that's why it's important that we have shows like this where you guys can come over and we can just chill out and have some fun, because believe it or not, fun is very important to your well-being.
Exactly. Fish Willie said, at first we used symbol to meditate on. The Eye of Horus on the dollar bill came to me. I used it for a year.
Mm-hmm. Well, that pyramid, with the circle in the center, that's a very, very ancient symbol, and it's not what a lot of people think it is. That's a very, very, very ancient symbol.
Bigfoot, Littlefoot is apparently way back.
Apparently, they might have found ancient Egyptian symbiology in Göbekli Tepe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that. It's questionable.
I think it might be like a very archaic version of it.
We can turn Adam into a cryptid, Pat, if that's what the people want. It's their show. If they tell me to turn Adam into a cryptid, I will turn Adam into a cryptid. Yes.
Yeah.
His head and upper body with no arms on the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Could happen.
Lisa said either way behind or psychically ahead. Do it now, Ron. Let's see which one it is. All right. So Pat says Grafton Monster Adam.
Do you know it's actually keeping track of you guys' chat rate? So the faster you respond, it actually has a chat rate over here, and the numbers go up. And when you do a lull, it goes down. So yeah, the algorithm literally watches everything. That is just absolutely amazing. Oh my God.
Willie Bug says I still want Chris Hemsworth.
It just shot up.
Make the Putnam County monster. The one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people, Adam.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, guys.
That's
okay,
great.
Then Dewey says, I thought my projection was only a dream until my daughter in Washington called me the next morning and told me that my granddaughter was asking where I was, that I was there with her last night.
Yeah. Kids have the darndest thing about them, Dewey. They can see some stuff that others can't. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you guys out there who are gifted, when you're looking into certain things, what are some techniques that you've managed to use to protect yourself? Because that can be different for each person.
Mm-hmm. See, that's the truth right there.
Yeah.
It's about intent. It's about belief. If you don't think it's going to work, it's not going to work.
Lisa says physically or mentally, both. Or psychically, sorry.
Psychically.
Psychically or mentally. Black Terror says isolation. Yeah, that was how I first learned how to really start doing it. Was I would basically put myself in a shut room and then place walls up.
Cocoon or egg?
Pat says OBE would have made visiting the family for Christmas so much easier.
Well, you'd visit them. They couldn't probably see you, though, bud. So it might be
He
better
says,
for
"Hey,
some.
Scrafter, get clapped." Deucer says crystals, prayers, and grounding, salt, and sumishi practice. Sumushi. Cole says, I always have my gods go with me. Black Tower says, egg for centering, sphere for creating. Brandy says, I ground into the earth and imagine God and the angels shining a bright light down around me.
So you see, everyone again, they have their unique ways of doing it, but they're all doing the exact same thing. They're shielding.
Right.
And that is important. It's one of the first lessons that I learned was to shield. You learn to shield before you do anything.
Yep. And it was even one of the teachings within the Christian Bible was putting on the armor.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's important because, again, I'll say it. Not everything out there has your best interest. Not everything out there is going to be, love and light.
Lisa says, physically, I have crystals in D as a backup. Mentally, I have a light ball that surrounds me. I can expand or contract to enable or disable communications.
That's the one that pretty much I used. That's what I was taught anyway, is to use the oblong light. Basically, the whole body is encased in a cocoon of white light.
Abba says, I had a light shine down last night, quick, low, and crystal white.
Where? Yes, Tommy. That's a good question right there.
Anyone do this barefoot, like grounded outside the earth?
Yeah. Yeah, you should definitely ground outside a few times at least. There's other ways to ground as well. You can use water because you remember your pipes are always, they're in the ground. So by connection.
Abbott says,
Ocala, Florida.
Ocala, Florida. Pat says, you don't need to shield if you're not tuned in.
Oh. That's pretty true, though.
Black Tower says, my methods are for affecting the outcome I desire, not for protection. Shape is the oldest language. Brandon will be right back with us.
Oh, I thought he disappeared. He dematerialized right before us.
Lisa says, to compress, I was taught to compress it like a snowball, then picture stretching it to expand. Just like stretching when you wake up, all muscles and all body parts.
Yes, visualization is extremely important in all of this, literally. If you're trying to do any of it, visualization, very, very important.
Fishbelly says, go barefoot as much as possible. The first thing they take is your shoes.
Oh, gosh. That's pretty good. Hey, kids, guess what time it is?
Ada says, I have the blood of Jesus on me and the bright light of God and the archangels around me. Brandy says, I ground all the time and it recharges me. I also like to get recharged in the sun.
Yeah. Alex Tannis, very famous OBE guy there back in the day, astral traveler, as he liked to call himself. He would occasionally sun gaze. And I picked that practice up before too. And literally I learned later on what I was doing, but what you're doing is you're pulling energy straight from the sun. You don't do that, by the way, unless the sun's very low on the horizon. That's why a lot of tribes would go out and greet the sun in the morning. They were, giving thanks to the day, and they were also pulling energy in for the rest of the day. It makes you very positive if you do it, by the way. If you happen to get up early enough, try to do it at least on vacation, because it'll make you feel a whole lot better.
Hey, I wanted to show you guys some stuff that I found from my childhood.
Let's see it.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Oh,
Whoa,
man, is that the
that's
VHS or
cool.
the book? Yeah, it's the
Little bit,
VHS.
It's VHS.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And then I also have Lost World. It had a little holographic card inside of it, but I tore it out apparently.
Ruined the value, Brandon.
Very cool. So what everybody's comments down there, what card's coming out? Oh man, the old Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
98.
And Dewey's got a really good little thing there.
Yeah, he said, I had a dream a few months ago about an old family friend that had not thought of in several years. I found out when I woke up she had passed during the night. Freaked me out.
Freak you out. And you just had the dream for nothing triggered it. You just had it, and then boom, that was it. And that happens a lot. I mean, that happens a whole lot. So yeah, you're going to get that kind of stuff too. And no one really knows why. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, well, what makes people so attuned to that, I don't know. I don't know any more than you guys do this time. We're going to do a blind. See, I don't know what that is. It's in here. You're drawing from the top. This one right here.
China is planning a Jurassic Park, and I want to go work there. It's the only reason I would go to China.
They've been working on it for a while. Got our comments in?
Think so.
We're getting them? Are we good? All right, we ready?
Yep.
And star. Wrong.
Aha, I got it.
Lines. You got lines?
Me, Black Tower, Pat. Pat, you got one, buddy.
Look at you.
It was just the three of us that got that.
Oh, just three you got that?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Angie says she got it too.
She got it. Okay,
So
cool.
there's 4. Same
4.
ratio as last time.
All right, let's see you do it again.
Ashley says my daughter guessed bacon.
Bacon.
So there's
Counts.
5.
That's it. All right.
Improvement.
That's 5. All right, you ready? Because we're going to do it again. Everybody ready?
Everybody's ready. Go ahead and start throwing in your comments.
This one right here. I don't know what it is any more than you do. I got square.
Deucer's the only. Oh, nope. Deucer's in there. Deucer. All right. I think I got everybody. After Scott. Yep. Now that Scott's here, we got them all.
Okay, here we go then.
At least all that's been going.
Oh.
Star.
Oh. I know Ashley got that.
2, 3.
I think Ashley got it.
4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people hit star.
There you go. Now we're working. Now we're cooking. So 7 people hit that, right?
I was thinking square.
I did too. I don't know why. Something just said square.
Pat's got 2 in a row.
Might have to do that and that one in person the next time. We'll see.
All right, everybody, get them in there. Get them in there. Plus, square, bacon, circle, or star. Adam is changing his.
I'll allow it.
Waiting on Scott. There we go, Scott.
Scott's in?
And Larry Hose. Larry Hose got his in.
There's it. Okay.
All right, we're ready.
That is a plus. That is a star.
Star. So let's see who got star. We got nobody.
Whoa.
Everybody got it wrong.
Check that out. I wonder.
Jammer.
What's that?
I blame Adam. I think he's a signal jammer.
He could be. The test could be flawed.
Yep, everybody missed that one.
I'd say the test is flawed, and I'd say it's Adam sending signals out and messing with people's heads. That's probably what it is.
So I know here in the audience that's currently here, folks who haven't commented yet, folks who are sitting out there just watching right now. What is your what are one of your takes on the psychic visions, dreams, things of that nature? Anybody who hasn't commented yet, like, this is wide open. You guys are more than anybody's more than welcome to come and comment on it.
Please comment. That's what we're here for. We will be conducting these, by the way, at a booth near you this year, just to let you know if you want to come over to the table and participate in a real test. Collecting some data.
Fishbone says, do you cut the deck away from you every time?
Yeah. I was just cycling through. Actually, I was doing it as you guys were even choosing. That's what you were hearing back there in the background.
Pat says Adam is my sleep paralysis demon.
Oh my gosh.
Especially that priest image of him.
That's terrifying. So what do you guys want to see? We have a pretty good idea of some of the episodes we're going to be working on, by the way, for the podcast this year. What would you guys like to see us cover this year? Because there's a massive list and we'll just add to it. And some of them will find a way over here, I'm sure. So any ideas? Anything you'd like to hear discussed? Aside from some of the stuff that we'll probably already be talking about.
Larry says Civil War ghosts in time, brother.
Yep. In time.
We actually have a location set for that one too.
Cole makes a good point. We all have these spiritual gifts of the spirit. Everyone has them. They're usually just shut off from trauma throughout one's life. That's why kids are so open when they're young. They weren't shut off yet. That makes absolute sense.
I mean, Joe, we live about 5 minutes away from a couple of Civil War battle spots.
I live on a Civil War battle spot.
Oh, do you?
Literally.
Yeah, he does.
Try it there.
I don't see any reason to conjure up Civil War ghosts in my house, Brandon, just for entertainment. This is not how this works. No.
Scott said, I once had a very detailed dream about a football game. Then a couple weeks later, saw it play out on live TV down to the very detail.
Oh, that's a good one, Scott. That's majorly good. That's real precognition right there.
Abbott Hoffman says, Mer people.
Mer people.
Larry Potter says, portals and high strangeness.
Did we do the Mer thing once?
We did
or did we just clever it in with
the other cryptids?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because I wanted to do a mermaid special, and we didn't do it for some reason. I don't know why.
Pat says documented cases of mass hysteria. You mean
loving
these? Radio Live?
I'm loving these. Are you writing these down? Because we need to write down. These are good. Portals and ley lines is a very good one, by the way. Who put that out there? Larry? Thank you, Larry. That's a great one. Expect it. Actually, we might actually do more than just an episode on portals and ley lines. Pretty sure we went through one once.
We did. We touched ley lines forever ago, but that was like audio only land. Okay, yep. I'm writing these down on my phone.
Yep, audio only land. Sirens of the Sea. Yep. So let's do the mer people, sirens, and etc. That's cool. Let's just do a whole ocean lore kind of episode. Okay. That'll be awesome. I like that. Doors, dimensions, portals. I like that. Yep. Squiggly card. Bigfoot said.
Hey, finding the trackway. You made it.
Everything.
Children who remember their past lives.
We did that one.
We recently. Did a full episode, but we didn't do it live.
That was last year, but we could do a live, sure. Especially if anyone has any children that remember their past lives, they'd like to bring on the show.
Oh, man.
Just saying.
Dreams and doorways.
Let me see. Antarctica. Someone put Antarctica. That's cool.
That's actually going to be a formal show and a live show. It sounds like.
Yeah, Antarctica.
Hey, good news. The YouTube side, we have 38 likes right now.
Yeah, I was the last one. Bumped it from 37 to 38.
That's awesome. Ada, time travel. It's already on the books. That'll be coming here in just a couple of weeks, actually.
Let's see.
42 likes, Adam's saying now. Is that right?
Let me look over there. Update.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm showing 41 over here.
41 is what I'm seeing.
Wow. Yeah, that's making a difference, kids. Thank you so much, every single one of you. That's impressive. Not to mention the views. That's also very impressive.
5-foot turtles of Maine with numbers on shells. I haven't heard of that one.
What?
I know there's like
what is
turtle.
Abbott, what is that? And can you get us some info, please? Because that sounds very intriguing, honestly.
We actually did a live that involved the reincarnation.
I don't think it wasn't live.
It was one of the early ones. We touched it with it was after the recorded episode.
There is a very good recorded episode on reincarnations.
Yeah.
And I think it was from last year. I think, right?
Early last
year. Yeah, beginning of last year, I think.
Tony Breeden says giant penguins. You mean giant rubber feet? There was that guy that wore those big stompers and walked on the beach and had people snowed forever. There was a giant penguin.
I was still sitting at 1,600.
People. That's a good one we haven't talked about in a while.
We're still sitting at 1,644 on current subscribers. So let's see if we can boost that number up a little bit, guys.
Fishbelly, pre-Columbus America. I dig it.
Con your friends into subscribing. There you go. That's how you do it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, especially if they like this kind of stuff. Or,
yeah, exactly.
Anything paranormal, whatnot. Because you're going to want to stay up to date with what's happening right here very soon. Someone had asked when we go live, but there's more than just going live. We actually put out different content on here of some of our past investigations, field investigations and whatnot. And there will be a few of those very shortly that you're going to want to definitely tune
Randy
into.
said Giants in the Mounds. We can definitely hit that one again. That's a topic that we've touched several times, but it's always good to revisit.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can talk about how the stuff in our state connects to pretty much the whole Southeast.
Yeah.
ET contact in South America. There you go, Cole. I think we hit that one about every other week.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, but I would like to do it in an actual full format at some point. So that's a good point. I like that.
We covered.
And I think Pat would add right into that. Mountains, where's it at? Martians and the Hopi legends, things like that would be that would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Larry says I was handing out business cards in Gettysburg the other night. Awesome.
That is cool.
Buildings of pyramids in different cultures. Hey, that's another one that's already on the list.
I like that too. Yeah.
Grateful Dead heads, exorbitant UFO experiences. Fishbelly says Dog Man.
Fishbelly, would you really? You and Adam both. I mean, yeah, those is
fact turtles all the way down.
That is, I mean, that is some very good topics. I mean, incredible topics there. So I can see a bunch of those coming up, honestly.
The Tommy knockers and trolls and gnomes, relation to coal mining industry.
Good one, Brandy. Good one. Tag that, Joe. That's like, put a little check beside that when you write it down.
I'm already writing them down.
Well, put a little check beside that one when you write it down.
Okay.
We'll talk about that one.
Deucer says, speaking of Civil War ghosts, I'm doing a book signing at Fort Donelson next month on the anniversary of the battle.
Oh, cool. That's very cool, actually.
Banshees. Doppelgangers.
Parallelisms. I like that. That's a good one, Lisa.
I think we can maybe we could blend in doppelgangers with like
Lizard Man. Yeah, Finding Trackway. Yes, you're right. We haven't did a Lizard Man episode.
No.
I know the perfect guy to get on for that.
We had him on for the Lizard Man episode.
We talked about more than Lizard Man.
We
And
did.
that was also back in the vocal days.
That was on the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Parallels of pre-Christian religious practices,
Mhm.
i.e. shamans.
Yeah, that's good. I've seen a lot of calls for banshees, so we are definitely making that a thing. Out of place artifacts, I think that would go right in with the whole South American Hopi kind of thing. That would fit right in with that.
We had an out of place artifacts live show before that got completely off the rails and went a totally
Remember that? Yeah, I did. Completely. I mean, who's to say that any of these that go into live will actually be what
Right.
it is? I'm surprised tonight's theme stayed through. I'm very proud of you guys. It was like, it's like teaching in front of a bunch of kids with ADHD sometimes. And the difference is we just let you run with it. I don't care because, like I said, it's your show. So run with it. Change the subject, change the channel.
Ada says Native American spirits.
Yeah. I see a call for Godzilla, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Leviathan, Megalodon, Dragon, Godzilla, big giant sea creatures.
Lizard people.
La Llorona.
Tony. Lizard people.
Psychic vampires. I dig it.
Oh, Scott. That's a good one. Really good one.
Where the other sock disappears into the clothes dryer.
Well, I think Married with Children handled that one very well back in the day. Incidentally, that was probably one of the first shows to show a representation of gray aliens in a comedic form. You'll just have to go look that up.
Abbott Hoffman, CIA vampires.
They're pretty much all vampires.
Did anybody mention psychic vampires yet?
Yeah. Whatever happened to the Betts sphere?
Oh, didn't we talk about that? We talked about that.
A little bit on one episode.
Yeah, that was one of the guests you brought on, actually.
Then, good night, Deucery. Have a good one, buddy.
Night, Dewey.
Sasquatch with rabies would be a good one.
No. Come on now. But seriously, I think these are incredibly great topics.
Yeah.
And you can be sure.
Several weeks laid out right there now.
Yeah, you'll be sure that this is probably going to, almost all this will be put in at some point this year. We have just a lot to do. I mean, just so much to do. It's not even funny.
RH negative.
There you go. Brady, you need to come to the workshop. So we're going to be getting that underway for you folks.
Yeah, we'll be able to announce that hopefully next Thursday.
Maybe.
That is
We'll
the
see.
plan, is by next Thursday.
We'll see.
be able to
We'll
announce
see.
the date. If not, then it'll be the following Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see. But you'll get notice before. So it'll be good because we're going to tell you when we're going to announce it. That way, when we actually announce it, I'm going to go over to the website and hit live at that point and make the actual page live where you get your tickets, because it's going to sell out just like that. There's so much to do. It's not even funny at this one. There's going to be experiments, there's going to be experiences, and there's going to be top secret event that we can't talk about.
Yep.
That every single person who's there is going to get to do. And once it's over, they're going to be like, holy crap, did this just happen? And we're going to be like, yeah, it did.
Yep, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it did. And it's guaranteed that you will have fun that day. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
And you will want to take lots of photos. Trust me. Don't worry, Ashley. We're not going to try to schedule on top of anybody's stuff. We actually try not to do that. That's kind of important, actually.
Whoops and growls of West Virginia. We'll cut out the West Virginia part and we can cover whoops and growls from all over because we have several in our files, and then we can dip into some of the other BFRO files.
Do you just want to make that like a Bigfoot language episode?
We could do that. Cover Ron's stuff. Scott Holbrook coming in hot in the end.
Right there. Free for all. No dues, no Patreon. That's exactly how we want to roll.
Yep.
Exactly like that. And you know, it doesn't have to be $20. It don't have to be $50. You know, a dollar here and there, all adds up. We don't care how we get there. As long as we can keep it free for everybody, that's all that really matters. And we're going to keep doing this stuff and more. Like I said, you're just going to have to be there because it's going to be really cool. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have so much fun.
Ashley says, good, because I got to be there. I have tons of synchronicities around Point Pleasant. I might want to head down there the next few weekends. Let us know if you come down. We'll meet up for dinner or something.
Yeah, the restaurant down there is just fantastic. I need another excuse to go.
Free and Adam in my nightmares. All the nightmare fuel. That's right.
So I have to figure out how to animate a Bigfoot and a Mothman dancing on a coffee table. So yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Probably with a mirror ball spinning or something too. I don't know yet. Not sure.
Well, guys, I am going to have to hop off here because I'm about to go turn into a werewolf over the toilet. Everybody else can put that together. It's going to be a howling good time. Not in the office. Y'all have fun, everybody. Ron, you're in charge of closing this one out.
Thanks. I think. This is the crap I put up with. Do you see this? Do you believe that? That right there is what I put up with. I mean, you know, I swear. Anyway. Yeah, I know, right? It's just unbelievable is what it is. Folks, did everybody have a good time tonight? Because, man, I had a good time tonight. That's for sure. And I think you guys did pretty well on the test, actually. It wasn't really a test. It was more just a little experiment to throw in there to kind of help you guys understand how that kind of stuff works while we were talking about, you know, psychic phenomena and whatnot. But those tests do work. It's just a matter of, you know, you've got to conduct a bunch of them in a row. So, you know, individually. Brandon, did you learn anything tonight?
I learned how unpsychic we all are.
Oh, geez, Brandon.
Because I was wrong every single time.
Were you?
Yep.
You were wrong every time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, Brandon. I'll give you one more chance. One more chance to get it right. Okay, Brandon, ready? When I tap this card, as soon as you hear the psh, tell me what first thing goes into your head, just like. No, Brandon.
Square.
Yeah, that's what I got too. I got a square too, see? And we're both wrong. It's not a square. It's not a square at all.
It was bacon.
I wonder if this was a square. No, this wasn't a square either. You're right. We're horrible. Actually, I'm usually pretty good at that stuff. But, you know, one of the things you have to remember when you're doing this stuff is that you stay in a controlled environment as well. And we have no control whatsoever here. In fact, it's way out of control. Tomorrow at 8:00 p.m. Eastern, guys, the premiere of episode 178. Wild and Weird Radio premieres. Wow. 178 episodes, guys. That's what we're up to. That debuts tomorrow, and it's basically an episode where we're kind of talking a little bit about, you know, things that are be going on. We do a pretty good news section over there on that one. And there's a couple of little surprises intermixed here and there within it. It's going to be pretty good. And then I think next week, or is it week after? I can't remember which one it is. We have the time travel episode that's going to be coming up, and you're going to definitely want to tune in for that one. Or maybe you did tune in for that one. I don't know. It's time travel, so
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Right? Exactly. We don't know. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, Ada. 178. It's crazy. Easy, Ashley. It has more episodes, but oh, never mind. I think you figured it out. Nope. It has more episodes. It was started as just audio only, and we moved over into YouTube land shortly after that. Actually, it's about a year after that. I think the first, maybe it's the first and most of the second season were audio only. I think that's how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right?
Yeah, it was the first and like halfway through the second season.
Yeah. And we wanted to do video. It's just that we just couldn't get it to do what we wanted to do at the time. And it wasn't until much later we figured out StreamYard. And from there, it's just been history.
Yeah, I remember the first few episodes on YouTube was just the audio version put on YouTube. There was no video.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It was. You've been doing it longer now. Going forward, I'm definitely taking more breaks. You know what? Actually, it comes down to really just doing what you can do. I know a lot of people, they get into this and they have to create content. Do it because you want to, not because you have to. And I know you want to because I've talked to you enough to know this. And do it in a manner that doesn't stress you out so much. Although last year there were some stressful times here too, but that's because I had to get ready for shows and produce these things at the same time. But, that's a little stressful. But I know a lot of people who are just like, they commit themselves to producing these episodes and they think if they don't get it out, it's the end of the world. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. I mean, holidays are a good example of that. You'll see we drop off on the holidays just because I'm not doing it. We just don't have time to do that. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work putting those shows together, especially the real podcast, because there's a lot of research involved in those things. So yeah, that's probably my best advice for you, and I think you're going to do just fine. Be sure to let us know. Like I said, I think you advertised it this week. Advertise it. Put it over there on the group. Let people know you got your episode out. And people really don't know how much work it is, but it is a massive amount of work, especially when you have to listen to it over and over again, because I'll have to do the video, go in and edit out these little parts that are not supposed to be there, or where things went wrong, or there was a noise, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I do that and add all the titles, the background music, all that, anything special, I'll export that. That'll be our main show. And then I'll re-import that and strip out just the audio, go over and make the audio a little bit better for the audio version of the show. Yeah, it's a lot. And, like I said, it really helps when you see people support the show the way that you guys have. And can't thank you enough, obviously. My resolution was to be better about shamelessly plugging myself. No, you do that. You shamelessly plug yourself, Ashley, because that's something that we didn't do for the first 2 years. We thought that kind of looked bad. It doesn't look bad. It's in your head. It's totally in your head. You've got to get comfortable. It's kind of like when you're a songwriter and you play instruments, right? You got to get comfortable singing in front of people. It's the same thing. You've got to get comfortable hearing yourself sing. You've got to get comfortable hearing yourself talk. You got to be comfortable seeing yourself on here every week, and that takes a while. That just takes a while. It doesn't matter. Once you figure that out, though, it's good to go. You've got it. Well, folks, I guess this will probably be all for tonight. I think I'll leave you with a little bit of kalimba music here real quick. Let's go. Oh, it's magical. There it is. Trying to hit that note. Kalimbas are hard to play. Just remember that, kids. They're fun, but hard. All right, guys. I think that's enough for tonight. We're going to wrap this one up. Please be back here again next Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. when we do this all over again. I'm not sure what the subject will be. You gave us quite a list, so it could be any of those. And yeah, I think that this was a pretty good show. What do you think, Brandon? Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. If there's any resources that anybody would like, reach out, please. And when you do leave, make sure that you go to the actual episode and leave a comment. That helps tremendously in the algorithms as well. Let me see. I'm making sure. Yeah, brush it with your finger. Yeah, that's when it sounds really good. He's actually right about that. You just kind of. See, very peaceful. Very peaceful. I won't bore you anymore. So everyone, until next week, please do remember to stay wild and weird. And if you see anything, let us know. Again, we got some really good reports there last week. We stayed on top of a few of them. We actually did some analysis online here where everybody could see it live. If you got something like that, reach out, let us know, especially if you see any orbs, anything like that. That seems to be a really prevalent thing right now. There's a lot of orb sightings. If you see anything, get a hold of us. Let us know. We are very interested in that, and we will definitely be following up on those. So, thank you all once again for being here. This is Wild and Weird Radio Live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Hit notification. Remind yourself, set your alarm, have your friends remind you, whatever it takes. But till then, we'll see you out there. Stay wild and weird, everybody, and good night. Thank you. God bless all.